Good morning. I'm Theresa Shaw, and thank you for joining me for devotions today. I'm very excited because I just got out of a wonderful Zoom meeting with Sarah Stinson, and Sarah was a part of our Faith, Economics, and Vocation Mondays with Emmanuel. And I tell you, you should join us. It's every Monday at 10 a.m. and it has been quite interesting. Today it was most interesting in that Sarah talked a little bit differently about our calling as well as sin. And so I found it most interesting. However, I want to talk about how do we get there? How do we now take in all of these different things and interpretations that are taught in our academies and with new pastors and to our laypersons? How do we look at that? Well, we had great conversation, but I'd like to talk about growing in wisdom. And I think in Luke 2nd chapter, 52nd verse, God, Jesus grew in wisdom and stature and in favor with God and men. Now, as we grow up every year, and of course, we grow in stature from a child to some of our children are 6 feet and over. So we do grow up as well. However, it is not difficult to understand how we grow in stature, but let's talk about how we grow in wisdom. And in wisdom, God gives us so many experiences as well as gifts throughout our life. And it appears to me that we are given these gifts to help us in wisdom, and we're given the experiences to learn and to grow. So now where does that leave us today? Some of us have been taught so many things as we have grown up, and now we hear them and they're different. And then how are we supposed to accept or to understand them? Well, I'm not sure. There's one thing I do know, however, that we are called to serve. Well, I always thought we were called by God to serve. I understand today we are called by our neighbors for service. And if you step back and take a look at life, you will see that most of our service is to others and not for ourselves. And we really are called to serve. We serve our children, we serve the people that we work with, we serve our neighbors, and we serve people all over the country. So, well, while I thought that God calls us to serve, maybe it is our neighbors that call us to serve. And I think, too, that God also opens up our minds and our hearts to understand those things that are necessary at a particular time in your life. And so sometimes that's difficult. I also know that generationally, God gives different gifts, different understandings, and different interpretations to those who are leading. So maybe it's time for us to open up and listen to some of the new interpretations of life and God's words. And not that ours were wrong, but now we have a different way of looking at and understanding. So today, I'll say to you in closing that wisdom is probably one of the most important things to our growing, and that callings never stop. We will be called to service until our last breath. And I'll repeat something that Sarah said today in our um, Faith, Vocation, and Educational Monday series. She said that you'll never stop having vocations until your last breath in the arms of God. So while we retire and while we think we're just going to sit back and do absolutely nothing, our vocations are still needed, and we are still called by our neighbors to help and support and to love and to guide. Thank you, and I look forward to seeing you next week.